the show before. I never got scared going over a bridge until the first time I ever went over the Bay Bridge in from Oakland to San Francisco.
The Full House Bridge.
I guess that's the one. Well, I don't remember. Was that the Golden Gate?
Yeah.
No, no, I'm
So
not.
it's a different one. Yeah,
The
yeah.
Bay Bridge is the one that takes you from Oakland. Then you kind of go on to Treasure Island, and then you go through into San Francisco, and that's the one that collapsed partially during the Prieta Loma quake in '89, the World Series quake. Um, so that hit me. I just thought about it every time I went over the bridge, but it never happened. It never happened.
The
These things don't usually happen.
the Golden Gate Bridge, they had it was like a 50th anniversary, but they were doing a parade where they had the pedestrians were walking on it, and that was actually too heavy for it. You can have all the cars going back and forth, but when you fill it up with people on it, they said the suspension then was starting to get a little shaky.
Yeah, but even when the Bay Bridge collapsed from that quake, it was partial. It was just one section of it. This was the whole thing. I mean, that entire bridge just fell right into the river.
Did
That's
that's
one of the
cold.
scariest looking videos I've seen.
Yeah, that's cold water. That's just a frightening fall. I mean, do you try to open your window, roll it down while you're going, and get ready to jump? I mean, how do you do something to that's like a fear factor with Joe Rogan, right?
I was informed by somebody recently. A very good friend tells me that in the car that I have, the headrest is detachable, and you're able to use like the long metal pegs that hold it in place in the seat. You're able to use that to crack the windshield or crack the window. I had no idea. I had no idea. So apparently the engineers at Honda have thought about this.
I thought when you just press the down and you don't have to, and it just goes all the way down. You just gotta find a way to get to it. But I hope everybody's okay. I don't know what happened or the death rate and everybody. It's just scary. It's definitely a scary thing.
It really is. I tell you what, though, I think we're okay if we're driving over bridges. I really do. It's just we'll be left with that, the thought of that video. I think for a while when you do go over those bridges. Yeah. So there's that crazy scene. You kind of had a bit of I wouldn't say a crazy scene at the end of yesterday's show. I guess I'm sure Ruskin and Zach talked about it a little bit with Jersey Wolfenbarger. I guess it's public if she puts it on her social media, announcing via Instagram that she's transferring to LSU. And then the Talia Scott little, comment at the bottom of her page, although nothing's public or official about Talia, I don't think you would be commenting "Go Tigers" with the GAOUX publicly on somebody else's page if you're a player who's in the transfer portal, and that's public. Boy, is that putting the cart before the horse a little bit. And it's an interesting time to be transferring or making a decision to transfer to LSU. I guess at some point there will be this. It's got to be the most heavily publicized article in college basketball to come out in a long time, and it still hasn't come out, from the Washington Post. That's apparently been working on this, as Kim Mulkey calls it, a hit piece for the last 2 years. And then, I mean, I don't think that this announcement of Jersey has anything to do with that. It's just this is the time of the year that if you make your decision, well, you go public with it. And she had, 7 months to think about it and figure out where she was going to go. It just is, and I'm assuming that she's going to improve upon the 2 years that she spent at Arkansas, just because players should improve over the course of 3 or 4 years. It's a tough look, really, to see somebody that was a Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Arkansas 2 times over, I think, going to play not just for another program in the SEC, but that program, the one that won the national title last year, that
Top of the pyramid type of program.
Well, brought in players from around the country that were tops on their program to try to do the same thing, and. If Talia does come out and announce it at some point soon, man, it's some of this stuff we've been talking about, Matt. I mean, you don't have to have Arkansas players on your team. Well, you do have to have. That's the theme. You got to try to keep your best in the state. And look, Jenna's on the team from Farmington. So that's another Gatorade player of the year. That's somebody that you can definitely work with. But you get a state here where The top high school football player and the top high school basketball player are going elsewhere. They're going. In fact, they're both going to Missouri.
Well, that man, that's a whole different thing. Arkansas, I mean, what are y'all doing up there? First of all, Jersey, I saw her play in the state championship game. I think they beat Bentonville. She's the best player on the floor. That's a few years ago. I think she's going to be fine. You look around the college landscape, all these kids that got the red shirt and a COVID year, so that's 2 years that you get to do over again. That's why you have all these 24-year-old kids. Jersey's, I think she'll be fine. You'd like to keep your people in the state. Hey, Phil, losing Courtney Crutchfield, he state champion basketball player, all athlete receiver. I mean, that's just as bad as it gets. That just should tell you where this state of this Arkansas football program in, and it's hovering below mediocrity. It's not even above pedestrian. It's really a shame. It's really sad when your best players in state that are studs. You got 2 quarterbacks going to Division I schools. Legacy guy, another one going to an SEC school.
Well, you just had a top offensive lineman from the state decommit.
Just had and a running back. Had 2 kids. Had 2 kids decommit. I don't know what they're doing up there. I would embrace the state. That's just me. I'm an in-state guy. I think you gotta keep the kids in the high school. I mean, there's a momentum, there's an enthusiasm, there's a spirit world, there's the things about having 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th graders. You're seeing they want to go to the University of Arkansas, but I don't think that's a thing anymore. I really don't, and I think the football team is very mediocre, and I think that's just what we're in for the next few years. Hopefully, Bobby P can figure it out. But if you were to rate our coaches, it would be Van Horn, Musselman, Pittman. I mean, let's just be honest about it. If you're looking up there and saying, well, what do you have? Van Horn would be 1. He's the best coach up there. Musselman would be 2. Pittman would be 3. I think it's going to be a long year for the football team again.
We've got an action-packed Tuesday for you here on Halftime, which will include me getting out at about 1:30 because the baseball game's been moved up to 3, so 1:30 is when I'll go talk with DVH. That's when Matt will be talking with Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. With about a month before the NFL draft, he'll get some comments on the king of college football talk on some of the players that are available in that draft. And we'll talk with Alyssa Orange in about an hour from Pig Trail Nation. Voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, coming up in just a few minutes. Remember, the best Tex-Mex and better service is at Joe's Grilling Cantina. Every Friday is Fajita Friday. Features charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, it's full of flavor, and comes with the extras. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas, Joe's homemade enchilada sauce, and all the beef and chicken enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grilling Cantina, also a great place for watching basketball this weekend. Great Tex-Mex, better service, 3400 South 74th across from Harps. Stay with Halftime. Back in a moment with Chuck Barrett.
I tell you what, I know this. Got a lot of guys with some big hearts. For 3 hours or however long, maybe 4 hours, we're the best team in the country today. And it's offense, defense, and special teams. It's some guys like Darren McFadden, baby. Y'all better put him in the Heisman. You better put him up there. I'm tired of him being number 4.
We got that wood right here, baby.
Somebody better look at this guy, the best football player in the country, and his name's not being mentioned. Lou Holtz, Mark May, number 5. You better look at him a little closer. He's a football player.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
0.9% financing on a new 23 or 24 GMC Sierra at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Save up to $6,500 off with factory rebates on a new GMC Sierra truck, or take $3,750 off with 0.9% financing or 2.9% financing for up to 72 months on Sierra 1500. 6.2-liter engine excluded. Conquer with confidence in a new GMC Sierra from Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Planned Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
We're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Barrels and Brews Bottle Shop at the Hub in Chaffee Crossing has everything you need for your favorite activities. Our knowledgeable staff will be glad to help you with the current specials and our new arrivals of must-have bourbons and whiskeys. Hit the cooler for some of the coldest beer in town or choose from our large selection of amazing wines. Order online or call ahead Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. at the Hub in Chaffee Crossing. Barrels and Brews, voted best of the best in Fort Smith. It will put a smile on your face.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All guests join halftime via the McClarty Daniel hotline. That's where we have the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us today. Hey, Chuck, good morning. What's up?
Good morning, guys. How are you today?
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
I'm a little chilly at the booth at Baum Walker.
Yeah, you got a little February baseball in late March.
I'm done making weather predictions. 3 weeks ago, I said, I think we're done with the cold temperatures.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Gonna eat my words now. There's no doubt about that. Hey, we were looking back yesterday. Yesterday was a 30th anniversary of a Sweet 16 victory for the national championship team against Tulsa. And, man, I just imagine what it was like the day after that. You knew Michigan had moved on. You were playing them in the Elite Eight. And, you know, who knew if you were going to win the national championship? But over the last few years, we remember what that feels like to win the Sweet 16 game. And 30 years ago, they did as well.
I remember that game. You know, it was weird back then for me, and I know you experienced this some too. I was broadcasting baseball just like you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they never made any phone calls to make sure there was no conflict between the baseball game and the Final Four. I can remember we were playing in South Carolina and rushing back to the hotel after the baseball game was over to see the second half of the Michigan game, which ultimately I guess got them into the Final Four. But, yeah, it was always one of those times for me when I would watch as much as I could, but there was always baseball on the weekends, and I had to work.
Hey, Chuck, with you know, with the COVID, the rule with the people getting another year, then it seems like some of these players are a little older on this college basketball season. That being said, do you think this is a one-off, or do you think more chalky type brackets are going to be the norm in the next 5, 10, 20 years with the bigger schools kind of being able to pluck guys that already have college experience? Because this is one of the chalkiest brackets I can remember.
It generally gets pretty chalky by the Sweet 16. You know, most of your upsets are a Thursday, Friday phenomenon. You know, a few of those teams get to the Sweet 16, but not that often. But now, it is chalky this year. I was looking at it this morning. All your number one seeds are still left. You've got Clemson. I think you've got San Diego State's a 5, Clemson's a 6, and NC State's an 11. Everybody else is in the top 4, if I'm not mistaken. So, the committee did a good job, number one. But, again, it's I know Sankey's taking a beating, for what he said before the tournament began. But if you really look at it closely, there are some really good college basketball teams that in a one-game season just didn't survive. But that's generally a Thursday, Friday phenomenon. So the answer to your question is yes. I think as we move forward, we will see fewer Cinderellas get certainly past Thursday night of this week. I think that, there will be exceptions. But for the most part, this is the way it's moving, for better or worse.
The thing you bring up NC State, and it seems like everybody that comes on, I have to ask about NC State, and that kid Burns. He reminds me of Jason Peters so much, and
Oliver Miller, man.
Yeah,
He's
right.
A left-handed Oliver Miller.
But they run that offense through him, and I try to correlate it back to Arkansas. I'm always thinking, what's Arkansas need to do to win? They run their offense through their big, and I know you have to have guards, but I think one of the things Arkansas needs going forward, we got to have some big guys in the paint that can push them around. Did you see that Oregon South Carolina game? Did you see that big from Oregon? He would have been a top 3 big in the SEC. I know we got to get guards, but we got to get some bigs.
You're also going to be battling Kentucky for that. I listened last night to as much of the Calipari radio show as I could take, about 30 minutes worth, and he's talking about we need to get more physical. I think what he's also saying, and Chuck, this is something that maybe Arkansas needs – well, I think they already do. They need to get older, I think, is what Calipari was saying too. But you're going to be battling Kentucky for some of those same players.
Muss said something midway through the season on his radio show that I thought was interesting. Number one, he talked about how, the recruiting game's going to change moving forward, and that, you're not going to see as many high school players signed, which I think we have seen proven to be true. But he talked about what he's going to look for in his next class, and toughness was the first thing that came out of his mouth. He said, last year we felt like we had some offensive inefficiencies. We were not a good shooting team. We needed to shore that up. We thought we had. And, not only had you not, shored that up, but you might have been missing some other parts too, as it turned out. But he did talk about toughness, and that's what I think Cal is talking about too. There's a toughness aspect to this, and we're seeing it play out in the NCAA tournament right now. And great guards are the tipping point sometimes between a team that lasts and a team that doesn't. But it does seem like, at least right now, this year, the teams that are left, a lot of them have a big man they can go through, if they need to run that offense. And, the way they back down now in the two-man game, you think back to Arkansas's great teams. You were talking about the 94 team a minute ago. there's a lot of inside-out game going on there with Corliss, and I'm not surprised NC State's playing well, and I think that's one of the things that makes Clemson good. If you really look at Clemson, Clemson can do that, and I think the thing that makes Tennessee a legitimate threat now is Jonas Adu. I think he's a skilled big man who can run the floor, and you can run the offense down to him in the post too, low or high. And you got to have that guy. Sounds like they got a guy that they're talking to that might fit that bill.
Bill, they play Tennessee. They play Creighton. Creighton has a big.
That's going to be a great.
That's
going
to be a great matchup.
Well,
with
what
that
about
Falcon guy, whatever his name is, Falkenberger?
Do you feel that way about Zach Edey? I don't think a lot. Look, the Purdue fans believe in Purdue for right now until they're proven otherwise. There's a lot of folks who don't. Matt Jones being one.
Their guards can't keep up. Their guards are underclassed.
I think that they've gotten better in the spots around Edey. I can see the guy. I can't think of his name. He's got the hyphenated name. He's developed into a really good player for them. Early in the season, and maybe last year too, Edey had to touch the ball every time down the floor. I don't know that he has to do that right now. I tend to agree with you, Matt, but I do think Purdue's evolved since we saw them early in the year. They were very Edey-centric then. I don't think they have to be as much right now, but it's still hard to pick Purdue winning the national title. I mean, I could see Purdue going down before we get to the Final Four.
And I remember thinking the same thing watching UConn beat Arkansas last year, and it proved to be correct. And right now it doesn't look like there's a team that's playing any better than UConn either. It would be kind of a shock to see them go back-to-back just because of the state of college basketball, but they got to be an odds-on favorite. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be.
Oh, they're certainly among them. I want to tell you, Houston won a game the other night over A&M that you can live off of for a couple of weeks. You've got to have one game on the road to the national title. I think you've got to have one game where you got to fight like crazy to win it, and that was their game, I think. L.J. Cryer makes a big difference for them, and that Jamal Shedd's a terrific player. And they go through droughts sometimes where they can't score, but they didn't have any problem the other night doing that. So Houston's awfully good.
Chuck,
that's going to be a great game. Houston and was it Houston and Duke?
That's it. It's
I got Houston.
I
got Houston.
I do too. I do want to ask you about another SEC team. Since I think SEC went 2-6, making it to the Sweet 16. But Alabama, North Carolina, I'm taking the over. I think it's gonna. I think that's a game where they're going to get up and down the court. I kind of give Alabama a little bit of a chance, even though I'm a North Carolina fan. I got them picked in my bracket. That's going to be a tough one. That could be a little bit like what you were talking about, that Houston A&M game. I could see this one going either way.
I got North Carolina there. I think North Carolina is better than Alabama, although Alabama's got a lot of firepower. That game against Grand Canyon was some kind of game, and wasn't always pretty. But I mean, man, they were going at it. I just think North Carolina's just a little bit better. I'm not sure what Alabama's going to do about Baycott.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is the difference for North Carolina.
Hey, we've got Chuck for another segment. We can take phone calls on the McClarty Daniel hotline, so dial in at 877-377-6963. Halftime is brought to you by Crabtree RV Center in Alma. That's the dealership that served you in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas for over 70 years. They're still at the junction of I-40 and I-49 beside the Cracker Barrel in Alma, helping every family get the best experience. When you're making your plans for RVing over the next few months, they'll help you choose that right RV for your adventures. They got the service and parts department on site and everything you need in between at Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true. CrabtreeRV.com for more information. Stay with Halftime. We've got Chuck Barrett, and back after this.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line Now.
Spring camping season is here. Don't miss the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th at 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway in Rogers behind Newt's. Sponsored by two of the state's largest RV dealers, Wheels RV and Moix RV, with brands you love like Grand Design, Jayco, Brinkley, Flagstaff, Coachman Catalina, Vibe, and Winnebago. On-site financing available, plus food trucks, a variety of vendors, and bounce for the kids. Make plans to attend the NWA RV Show and Outdoor Party April 13th and 14th, 5102 West Pauline Whitaker Parkway, Rogers.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. What's the first thing you do if you had more time in the day? Nap, read, talk with a friend? When you know what's more important to you, it's easier to fit it into your schedule. Therapy can help you figure that out. BetterHelp offers affordable online therapy that comes to you. Start the process in minutes and switch therapists anytime. Visit BetterHelp, HELP.com/like today to get 10% off your first month.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey and Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? Come on over to Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer and a Cinnabogan authorized service provider. From excavators with the best-in-class breakout force to powerful skid steers, we'll be sure to find the right equipment for you. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call your local Shelter agent, Chris Dooley, at 479-646-6792.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us as well here on halftime as we take you through Tuesday up until a 3 o'clock first pitch with Arkansas and the Little Rock Trojans, who are coached by Chris Curry, a guy who used to be he was a volunteer assistant here. Was it a couple years, Chuck, when you were calling games at Curry?
I think it was 2 years.
Yeah.
He was he was here 2 years. He played he played at Mississippi State for Ron Polk, and came out of Conway, went I think to Meridian, and then went to Mississippi State. And I can remember going on a few Razorback Club trips with him. When Dave would go, there was one I remember specifically in Heber Springs, and Curry went. We were on the plane, and it was a big deal to him because, man, we never did this at Mississippi State. And I can remember saying, well, you're a Razorback now. It's a little bit different here, man. And but he enjoyed that night. And you could tell that Chris was going to be a head coach. He's a great guy, and he's a good baseball man. He's not just a great guy. He's a good baseball man. Knows the game and knows the college game. And, he learned under two of the best in the business, in my judgment, in Ron Polk and Dave Van Horn. And that's a pretty good pair to learn from there.
Yeah, those are two very different men, too, who did a lot of winning. Polk never had I don't know if he ever got married. He certainly never had kids. And Dave, of course, he's a family man through and through. What did you think when you heard about him going back to Fayetteville from Auburn to be there when Holland delivered triplets? And just the picture, I know he hasn't been able to hold him yet, but I'm just waiting to see a photo with Dave with triplets.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I felt. I felt like an old man because I can remember when we were playing at Ole Miss back when I was doing the games, and Dave had a similar weekend back and forth to see Holland graduate from high school. So, to have this repeat itself down the road, and now she's giving birth to triplets, I just felt like an old man. That's what I felt like. But I'm thrilled for all of them.
Yeah, that was I wish I was there for it, but obviously couldn't be. Team's playing really well. You get a 12-game homestand I think 10-game homestand coming up here, and LSU coming in. Man, it's always an exciting series when LSU is playing. This Arkansas starting pitching is something to believe in. Do you take anything from the loss on Saturday, just giving up a lead, or just you'd be happy with getting a road series win?
It's interesting in sports how winning streaks sometimes end when teams come from behind. I mean, what did the Celtics win, like 9 or 10 in a row before they blew a 30-point lead last night?
30 points.
Things like that happen sometimes. And, I texted a friend of mine when they went up 5-1. I'm like, man, these guys are like a machine. And then, of course, as is often the case in the series finale on Sunday, things change when it gets late. I wouldn't sound the alarm just yet. It was a good weekend. They're 5-1. They got a 2-game lead over Ole Miss and Mississippi State. They're 3 up on LSU, and you got them this weekend. And so you just got to keep playing. Games like that are going to happen every now and then. I don't think it's anything to get worried about unless it becomes a recurring theme, and I don't think it will.
Hey Chuck, we got spring ball. It's just right around the corner.
Resumes today?
Yeah. What's one thing you want to see this week? How many times? What are they doing practice wise this week? Do you know any of that?
They're working today. Well, they're done today. But it was cold this morning, and they're practicing in the mornings, and they'll practice again Thursday, and then they're going to have a scrimmage. It'll be an open scrimmage on Saturday. I'm not sure of the time, but it'll be in the morning. And they'll do that on Saturday. So you may have the times in front of you, Phil. I don't. I'm sorry. But I know it's going to be in the morning, and might set up well in terms of a day to see football and then see baseball too.
And once spring ball is over, like that, the next opening of the portal will be really, really interesting. I mean, I'd be naive to think that there aren't going to be players that leave the program right now. Even some guys that potentially we think may, be contributors for for this next season, because you can't trust that nobody's not being tampered with. You just can't trust that. Money's out there. I'm just sort of I don't know if it'll be as crazy as December, but I do think the spring portal season can be pretty crazy.
I don't really know what to expect, to be honest with you. My sense is that the vast majority of the players that enter the portal after spring practice are going to be guys who found out they weren't going to get to play. And, I mean, do you want a guy that at the place he was before found out he wasn't going to get to play and left? I don't know the answer to that. I know that every coach out there thinks, man, I can coach this guy. Whatever he's got in him, I can change it. Whatever I got to do, I can get the best out of him. You wouldn't be a good coach if you didn't think that way. But I don't know. That's a long way of saying I don't know how much is really going to be out there other than warm bodies. It's amazing to me how really in all the sports, a guy can be an average player, but he enters the portal and suddenly he's a superstar. He's the answer to all your problems. And I don't know if that's really true or not, but we'll see. I'm kind of like you. I would not be surprised to see something dramatic happen, but I don't really expect it.
Well, I know one thing I'd like to see, and I guess I'd like to hear, because I haven't been able to make it to practice, and practice viewing has been 8:30 in the morning, is what the schedule says. All reports are saying that Taylor Green is the number one quarterback right now, and I don't know if that's been fully decided, but I would just like to think that you're going into this next season with a dynamic quarterback, because that's the kind of thing that's not to say KJ couldn't be dynamic sometimes, but with the combination of Bobby Petrino and a hand-picked quarterback for him, I want to feel like going into this season that this team will be led by a dynamic quarterback that can win you some games. Not a guy that just, doesn't need to make mistakes and let other people win the game for you. That's the thing that's top of mind for me in spring ball.
Well, they think they have that guy, and obviously we're going to find out. With the relaxed 7-on-7 rules now and the walkthroughs that you're allowed to do with coaches before spring practice starts, and the things that you're allowed to do in the off season now, it's a lot different, for example, than when Matt played. They're able to do a lot more things now. Knowing who your number one quarterback is, I think, is more important for Arkansas right now than ever before. Maybe not ever before, but in the recent, our recent history. Let's just put it that way. Because of all those relaxed rules, you've got an opportunity to get real work in year-round. I mean, real work. Not just, hey, let's get together and throw some this week. I mean, real stuff. And it's important to know who your guy's going to be. I've not been around. I've not watched a Bobby Petrino offense in 10 years, aside from, when we played him. But I do know when he was here before, timing was so very, very important. It's always important. But in what he tries to do, it's, without it, you're lost. And that's where all this stuff comes from, is during this time that you don't see. So I think they know. I think they know that he's their guy. I think they know that he's got the ability to do what they want to do. I believe that the answer to your question is going to be yes. That's going to be the feeling going into the fall. They brought him here to play quarterback. They brought him here to play quarterback now, and he came here to play quarterback now. And he's the one Petrino wanted. So my sense is he's probably a pretty good player.
Chuck, I have faith in this offense. When you're last, you're going to be – I think you have to be better. I think our offense is going to be better than what it was last year, no question about it. But that being said, I want to talk about the other side of the ball. This is Travis Williams' second year to be D coordinator up there at Arkansas. I thought he did just as good a job as he could with that defense last year. What do you expect out of this defense? Do you think they make another jump forward? Because the defense was fun to watch at times last year.
I want to know how many defensive linemen they're going to have. how many guys that can play. I don't mean how many that suit up, how many can play. I thought that was one of the real keys to them taking a step forward defensively last year, was being able to legitimately rotate on the defensive line. You guys know this. You can count on one hand the number of years since we joined the Southeastern Conference where we could rotate defensive linemen, and you could lose a couple of fingers and still be okay. We've just not done it. And I thought that was a really important thing that happened last year, and I think it's important to sustain that. I know people focus on linebacker, and I get that. I mean, they got a lot of bodies in the secondary. They got plenty of candidates back there. Surely there's going to be 5 or 6 emerge. But I know people focus on linebacker, and I get that. And if there's a spot in the portal after spring where they pick somebody up, that might be it. Might be on the D-line too. I want to see how that is. And I don't know that we're really going to know all that until we get into the bulk of next year. We'll find out a little more when we go to Stillwater, I think. But that to me is the area where I thought they made strides, and it's important to maintain that.
So you've been calling games and getting ready for games since August, and we all wish you were doing the same thing this week, but you're not. When the baseball season's over, Chuck, I mean, I would like to say that I'm very good at hanging out and just resting and enjoying peace, but I'm not. It's not in my nature. So I wonder what it's like for you when the season's over and you're watching tournament games that last year you might have been close to calling.
Well, I'm pretty good at relaxing. I've got that down. I've not had any problem transitioning.
I need lessons then. I need you to teach me how to do this because I'm no good at it.
It was a little weird, the first there's been 2 Saturdays, I guess, now that we've not played. And those are the first 2 Saturdays we've not had games, aside maybe from Christmas weekend. Those are the first 2 Saturdays I haven't had a game since, football. We had the open weekend in football. But, yeah, it's different. But, no, I can step away very easily. I don't have any problem with that.
Okay. Well, again, I'm going to need lessons on this because I try.
Here's the thing, Phil. We can't control the outcome. All we can do is control the broadcast. When it's over, it's over.
That's right, but you know how odd, how weird it felt to me, and you've experienced this too. I know you have, like watching the game of the team that you're used to calling. Like I was watching the baseball series against Auburn this last weekend, and I tried almost to detach myself. Like I don't stand there and fake call the game, but I'm emotionally invested in every pitch when I'm here watching it. And I tried to relax, but it just didn't work. Maybe Matt's good at relaxing. You can teach me how to do this.
Well, I think Chuck just put the rest of the announcer curse, just saying you guys don't control the game. What's up? You made 9 free throws in a row and then they missed one. Y'all got something on that.
Hey, the very first game Matt Zimmerman did. I may have told you guys this story. If I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. But I said something about somebody's 89 or 90% free throw shooter, and they missed the next one, and he said, you jinxed him. And we went to the break, and I very nicely, halfway nicely, said, listen, man, we don't do jinxes. I said, if you start bringing that stuff up on the broadcast, just forget it, because we don't do jinxes around here. We got nothing to do with that. But that's just like a player. They always got to have somebody to blame when it goes wrong.
Hey, last thing before you go. It's like 37 degrees at Ball Walker right now.
Yeah.
Window open or closed if you were calling that game?
Well, if I was your age, Phil, I'd have it open. At my age, that baby would be slammed shut.
That's right. Chuck, appreciate you, man. We'll
right,
visit
guys.
again
have
next
a good
week.
day. Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Chuck Barrett, voice of the Razorbacks, with us here.
Well, it's like on Donnie Brasco where he's like, close that window, Donnie. You don't want me to catch a draft.
No, but I want to at least feel like I'm at a baseball park.
Right.
But I feel what Chuck's saying. That's why I got the window closed right now. I don't need to feel like I'm at a baseball park right now. We'll see what happens in about 3 hours. Hey, missing teeth, dental implants, crooked teeth, braces, broken teeth. Sharp Smiles can brighten your smile and help you fix any of your dental problems. Sharp Smiles has general dentistry for your routine checkups, teeth cleaning, x-rays, and more. Sharp Smiles is newly located in Fiona Hills at Market Trace across from Harps. Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants. Call 479-648-9988 or sharpsmilesdd.com. Back to wrap up our first hour of halftime in just a moment.
Drive a third-row SUV that is style in motion with a 20...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contests out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up to the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or your mobile device and even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to BetOnline today and get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor A from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is...
I don't know if it's curious, it's from you. Oh, the trail turns me inside. I'm just a fool, I'm terrified.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Wrapping up hour number 1 of halftime, we have the C unit back in studio. He had the Wolf in yesterday. I know he liked the movie, because there's no way you can't like This Is Spinal Tap unless you host a morning show on ESPN Arkansas. That's the only way that can actually happen. All right, C unit. Good, bad, ugly, 1 out of 10. What'd you think?
Funny, entertaining. It was a good look at what, bands go through, basically, how it gives you a dose of what they experience. And, man, I tell you, a character. That guy's a character. The lead singer, especially, but both of them, the two main guys, I forgot their name, but when he had the girlfriend go with him on tour, that was cool to see how they got through that. It didn't work out too well.
Wonder if you had a favorite song from the movie.
Oh yeah,
Big Bottom, Sex Farm.
Sex Farm. That's
the one. Yeah. Sounds like you made it through the entire 86 minutes, Matt.
The piano solo, the one he's working on. That's
they performed it in front of like at an Air Force base or something, and it was just nobody was listening to him.
When they did the Stonehenge, and he's like, "Yeah, it's a replica of the Stonehenge." He's like, "Yeah, I wrote it down on the napkin. It's something off." And then they're doing the one he gets trapped in the pod, and then all of a sudden at the end of the show, he gets to come out.
Or when they can't find the stage door in Cleveland. I think that was in Cleveland.
Do you eat those little sandwiches, Christian, that he eats?
Oh, the bread was too small. He was mad about that.
Couldn't understand the idea of just fold the meat.
Why? Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you liked it. It doesn't take that much time to. Do you need to be paid back for it? Was this like a $10 rental or a $3 rental? Are we okay with this?
I'm okay with it. I don't mind paying for a good movie here and there.
Okay, so it sounds to me like we sounds to me like we hit a home run with last weekend's halftime homework, Matt. Very good. So now it's been The Doors, and then it's been This Is Spinal Tap. We got to have another musical movie coming up next. And you've kicked around a couple of them. Almost Famous, and what's the other? Is it the Scott Pilgrim movie?
You got Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's Michael Cera. It's got the stars in it that you'll recognize. Almost Famous is up there. Pirate Radio is another one that's got a great soundtrack, great music history about it over in England when they were trying to censor radio and wasn't able to play certain music. Fight the man type thing.
What's the one where Tom Cruise plays the heavy metal glam rocker from the 80s? Is that called is that Rock of Ages? Have you seen that one?
I have not. I've saw the Mark Wahlberg Rock Star with Jennifer Aniston.
Same idea.
Yeah.
Same idea. Yeah. Andy wants Rockstar. Greg says Rock of Ages. Tenacious D.
I haven't. Tenacious D, Pick a Destiny. Yeah.
Rockstar has been requested a couple of times here.
It's a little overrated.
Think so?
Yeah, it's a little overrated.
Well, we got a few days to kick that one around.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we've hit a home run with a topic here for C Unit. We'll hit home run in hour number 2 of halftime as well, especially when we talk with Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation. Calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. Halftime is back in just a moment.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our number one volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the number one soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79. I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Hey, it's Zach from the Ruskin and Zach Show. Join us this Friday, March the 29th at Mock Legal Solutions grand reopening. Drop by this Friday to check out their new office space. Same location, just more room to serve you in more practice areas. We're going to be there live 2 to 6 that day, broadcasting from Mock Legal's newly renovated meeting room, the Johnny Davis Memorial Conference Room. Mark your calendars. This Friday, March 29th, Mock Legal Solutions grand reopening, 3401 South 79th Street, Fort Smith. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, moderate to heavy rain is possible. We'll see an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain just today with occasional showers and thunderstorms with heavy downpours. Our high today, low to mid 60s. We'll start to dry things out tonight. And overnight, low mid to upper 30s. Partly sunny and cooler. Highs near 50 north, upper 50 south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that we respect it. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Matt Jones, man, take it to the house. And the dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
That's able one Razorback.
Second half, very happy.
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Back on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson with Matt Jones and Christian Johnson. The C Unit is producing. We'll have Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation in about 15 minutes. Kick around things going on in NCAA basketball with Arkansas women's basketball, men's hoops, and baseball as well. Matt, Shohei Ohtani spoke yesterday to the media, took no questions, had a prepared statement. He read from notes.
Tiger Woods-esque?
Yeah, for about 12 minutes. His new interpreter, who used to be in the administration of the Dodgers, and now his job is to not steal money from his client or the guy that he's paid by the Dodgers to represent what he says. Ohtani says he did not gamble on baseball and that he is shocked that his interpreter stole money from him. But there still is the little idea here. I mean, I remember reading about Ohtani and his in his youth. He lived a monk-like existence in Japan, preparing to be exactly what he's become, which is a national hero and the greatest player in the sport currently. I think that he's lived a very manicured life in the States. The marriage that he had over the off season seems a little bit mysterious. The way that was introduced.
It's for breeding purposes, right?
guess.
Like his old lady's an amazing athlete. Like what you're talking about. I think she's a star over there as well.
I didn't even realize who.
Yeah,
it was.
she's a stud.
Well, he's the kind of person. Remember, I think the idea was he has the exact same routine every single day that he plays a game. Like be in the same place at the same time on the clock leading up to whatever first pitch is.
That's like your right fielder for the Diamondbacks. Same thing. Yeah.
That's kind of how I am when it comes to, I know that the game's at 3:00. I know that the broadcast is 2:30, then a 1:30 talk with Van Horn, and I mean you just kind of you have a certain steps that you take each day. That's the kind of athlete that he is. It doesn't make any sense that somebody that has that much command over his day to the nth degree would allow anybody, and this is something Greeny was hitting on earlier, anybody to have access to a bank account with as much money as there was in that account, unless there's a marriage or a business, like a business that you own together. It doesn't really make very much sense. So I don't know if and again, I can't use the term press conference because a press conference means that there are questions asked. This was just a statement being read in front of cameras. It doesn't. I don't think it cleared any air. I don't think there was any evidence brought. It's not going to stop any investigations, and it just kind of fanned the flames a little bit.
Who's the manager out west for the Dodgers right now?
That's Dave Roberts.
Second baseman Dave Roberts that stole the base for the New York Yankees, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was to me, he's the perfect manager to handle this situation, I think, as well. I think he's been around it. He's been in a lot of locker rooms. I've heard him come out and talk a little bit about the situation, but they're not saying anything that's has any weight to it. That they're just kind of saying it's somebody else's fault. How much truth? What do you believe out of everything you've seen from Ohtani and every Dave Roberts, whatever? How much of this do you think is truth? And how much of it do you think it's probably only about 10% of it that they're saying the truth?
I don't believe that Ohtani bet on baseball, but I don't understand why all of the changing stories here. Like if there's something to hide, that would be the thing.
The changing stories
that's worth hiding. It's just the gambling on baseball. It's not illegal to gamble on any other sports. Like if he's gambling on European soccer, whatever. The guy's. I don't know how much money he's worth, but he's worth a heck of a lot of money. It's like, people will tisk a Charles Barkley or whomever for gambling away millions of dollars. We don't know what it's like to have that much money. I'm sure there's still some in the tank. But there's nothing worth hiding outside of gambling on the sport that you're playing. And you see the situation here with Jonte Porter, in the NBA that there's now investigations into prop bets in games that he started and did not finish, and both times the prop bets hit the under, and the most money that was won, according to DraftKings that night in the NBA, was on that specific prop bet. And this is on Jonte Porter. This isn't on somebody that's a star or anything, But he left 2 games early, and there's some red flags about this. So, I mean, there's just more gambling stories that are coming out into the open as we do promote legal gambling in the state of Arkansas on this very station. I talk about it once a show at least. We have Neil Atkinson on every Friday. It does feel like if we're not at a crossroads for how this now can potentially be affecting the on-court or on-field product, we are certainly approaching those crossroads right now.
Do you think there's any type of Josh Braun or Lance Armstrong thing that it's coming out where he's trying to say the right thing, but there's a lot more to it and something else could happen? And You ask about how much money he's worth, Phil. He's half a billion, easy. He's the best player in baseball.
He's worth enough that he can defer all but $2 million a year of this. What was it, $50 million, I think, a season? That's how much money he's worth right now. So, again, it's like the cover-up is the thing that really ends up getting you in trouble. What is the story that nobody wants to say? It feels like there's something there. I don't want to believe that there's something there. Everything that I know about Ohtani, all I know is what I've read and what I've watched when I watch him play. It's a guy that plays the game with the respect. He comes from a society that also is about respect. So these things don't necessarily add up at all.
Well, it's kind of a whole nother thing. It's like P. Diddy. Is he like a double secret agent? Like his whole world. Whatever is going on in that world is absolutely wild, and then you're hearing things where he was supposed to collect information on other people. It's wild on the frontier right now. But it woke up this morning with that, the bridge in Baltimore coming down, and then the best baseball player right now in America are worldwide under investigation.
Got a couple callers on hold. Let's go to the McClarty Daniel hotline. Charlie is up first. Hey, Charlie, good to talk to you today. What's up?
What's up, fellas? Man, this sucks. It's the same. It's the same when it happened with Tiger. I'm not like, a Matt Jones golf fan or anything like that, but I am a golf fan. I'm a fan of anybody who's great at something, and we're talking about a guy who, honestly, I watch baseball too, not to the extent that I watch basketball and football, but I do love the sport. And this guy, and I respect his greatness, and it's just hard, to hear any of this, about any great player in any sport. And, I hope that it doesn't come to what you're talking about, Matt, with him, and that something comes out that he was involved. Now, Phil, I wanted to ask you too, because I know Jordan had this so-called gambling problem. That's been talked about. But he never, gambled, supposedly he never gambled on basketball, right? His gambling,
supposedly, but that would have all been in a completely different time and era when everything was done, behind closed doors. Nothing was out in the open. Jordan was a guy that would gamble with security guards on whatever they could gamble on, in the hallways. I'm not saying that he was gambling on the NBA, but. You look at the history of him, and you're like, well, did something happen? Everybody had their own ideas on why he retired the first time. Was that a reason? We all know the rumors that went into that too. So, but also that's somebody in Michael Jordan that I think had the money to do something like that, and had that competitive attitude to go along with it as well. So the thing here is that it's more, and this is where there's a parallel. It's the most popular player in the sport. It's somebody who's known worldwide, and it's somebody that just sort of transcends the sport, like a Patrick Mahomes does, like Wayne Gretzky did, doing things that nobody has seen before. That's what Ohtani is doing right now. That's what Jordan did then. So it would have been the exact same effect. Michael Jordan didn't. I'm sure he didn't have other people that had unless he trusted them fully, different than an interpreter that would have access to that sort of account to be able to steal that kind of money from Michael Jordan. So it's the thing about this, Matt. If it was just some regular ball player, it would get adjudicated really quickly through the system that Major League Baseball has in process, and we wouldn't think a second thing about it because it is who it is. It's not that it brings a sport down, but it's almost like a sport's entire popularity kind of hinges on this.
Well, and two, it was an illegal bookie where you think, Phil, that, and that's kind of what, as far as Ohtani, that's kind of what with Jordan, it wasn't as public. The public access wasn't there. It was more frowned upon. So you would think that he would go to a legal spot. Well, you got that type of money. Why wouldn't you just be betting with the guy through Vegas all the time instead of doing it the underground way?
All right, we'll break here in a moment. And first want to remind you about the bracket challenge that you can still get back on hitthatline.com and redo your whole Sweet 16, because I'm sure it's been completely balled up and thrown in the trash after the round of 64 picks. We'll do it again once we hit the Final Four. Check and see if your bracket is any better than anybody else on ESPN Arkansas. The HitThatLine.com Bracket Challenge is presented by On the Mark Sports Bar and Grill in Fayetteville, 810 Billiards and Bowling in Fort Smith, and Shelter Insurance agent Chris Dooley. We'll break, and we'll talk with Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation in just a moment.
On second down, the give is to Felix Jones on an end around. Jones to the 30 to 40. Jones in midfield. He may go. 25 to 20. 10, 5. Touchdown, Arkansas. Felix Jones goes 72 yards. And the Razorbacks increase their lead.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and HitThatLine.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Would you like to cut your utility bills without cutting comfort? Stay cool and save while enjoying the reliability and efficiency of a new Luxair HVAC system. Have your contractor call J&B Supply to hook you up with a Luxair system perfectly suited for your home. Luxair provides optimal comfort, energy savings, and lasting performance. J&B Supply, where the professionals go for all their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs since 1968. J&B Supply with locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we have the biggest and best selection of premium pre-owned vehicles we've had in years. Many with low miles and those special features you're looking for, and each one road ready certified with warranty. Be sure to ask about the weekly specials that can save you up to $4,000. Road ready certified used cars and savings up to $4,000. Two more reasons all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Hey River Valley, this is Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Y'all have eclipsed our expectations in supporting our law firm, and we are grateful. You blindly put your trust in us, and we are over the moon to announce our grand reopening. On March 29th from 2 to 6, drop by our office at 3401 South 79th Street. Meet Ruskin and Zach, grab a pair of free Eclipse glasses, and check out our expanded space and practice areas. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Like an eclipse.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Well, I knocked to a window to leave her a note. Will you come with me? at the back of the grove. All the trees were in bloom, that sweet smell in the air. We were trembling together. We were young, we were scared, yeah. True love, hard to find. I can feel it, yeah. Blossom, there.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All guests join halftime on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, and Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation is there right now. Alyssa, how you doing on a Tuesday?
Doing well. Came down here actually to Little Rock, knock out some interviews today. Just wrapped up our first one, and then I get to talk to you guys.
Ooh, we've switched spots for the day.
We did.
Can you tell us who it is you're speaking with down there?
Sure. So it's an Olympic story that I'm working on. She is a Paralympic swimmer from Arkansas in the Little Rock area, but swims at Northern Iowa. She, at the age of 16, started losing her eyesight, and they don't really know why and what's going on, and was told for a while it would come back until it pretty much was determined that it wasn't. So she is a swimmer up at UNI in Northern Iowa, and she will be a favorite to make the Paralympic team in Paris this upcoming summer.
So you'll be covering the Paralympics too, because that's usually, is that right after the Olympics or just?
It's
before?
right. It's right after, and I won't be there still in Paris for that, but we do, we cover the games, cover both the Olympics and the Paralympics, and shine and tell stories on both athletes from both events.
Well, better start packing, right? You know, Paris is might be there a long time.
Yesterday, 3.5 weeks.
Yesterday, I need your reaction to seeing Jersey Wolfenbarger's transfer to LSU, and then the comment from Talia Scott that was just beneath.
Yeah, I say that I was surprised. I didn't know. I really didn't think LSU felt like her style. I'm wrong. I don't know. But I just didn't feel like that would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. That was my first reaction. It was just kind of, okay. And then, that Talia Scott comment, "Go Tigers," below it, very telling. I mean, she hasn't made a decision, but, she didn't even play with Jersey. So I don't know how much she got to know her too much, because she didn't play most of the year, though she was on the team for some time. But if Talia Scott goes to LSU, then I would not be surprised. But it just continues to bring up that conversation of, what is it about LSU, Kim Mulkey, that program, all of the things involved that make it more appealing than where they were. So,
hey, Alyssa, with Talia Scott in that situation, now she's a talented girl, and you wish her well, no question about that. But with Talia Scott, leaving the team midway through the season, do you think there was an early what are the rules? When do you think Kim Mulkey talked to her? Did you think there was anything in the reason why she shut it down this year?
Yeah, I don't know. And, we were told the whole entire time that it was because of this back issue. And we don't know what the coaches were being told by Talia's family or what they wanted to share with the media. And, I never understood why the back injury was so bad.
I think they need to work on the cell towers in Little Rock.
Well, because my thing too, Phil, is if that's what they said, was there anything when the first?
Alyssa, sorry, we kind of lost your signal there.
Okay.
From it sounds like we lost you mid answer there, but
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just
it
was just a
felt
very
really weird.
Yeah, no, it was a very weird situation. The back injury, I believe, because I saw it happen. I think that there was something there. It was the amount of time to come back, and then with the family emergency, the serious family emergency. I mean, it's up to a family whether or not they're going to make public anything about the family. It's not anyone's right to know what's going on there. But it was just radio silence from that point on until this Instagram post. That's it. That's the thing about this. It's like that's the only thing we've heard from Talia outside of maybe like retweeting an SEC post about being named to the all-freshman team. Outside of that, it's just the Instagram post, and it's been radio silence for 6 to 7 weeks.
Yeah, and it's weird. And look, if you're asking me if I agree with whatever happened, I don't know all the details, like you said, and we don't have to have those details. Those aren't public knowledge and don't have to be. But at the same time, if it was leaving because, I'm going to go somewhere else next year anyways, that I don't agree with. And any athlete at any school who just leaves in the middle of the year because I'm just going to transfer anyways, I got a problem with that.
Hey, I know it's March Madness, and I asked you a little bit about your bracket, and I like how you got to North Carolina because that's how I got to them too. In a little bit of the same format, takes you about 3 minutes. Do you still like North Carolina after you've seen the opening weekend of play? Anybody beat UConn? Who do you like to cut down the nets?
Yeah, I still like North Carolina. I really still like that team and the way that they're playing. I think it's going to be tough to beat UConn. UConn's playing so well right now. I've already lost to Auburn in my Final Four, so much for that. And, even Houston looks beatable because they almost got beat by Texas A&M. So I'm still strongly on my North Carolina call. And I think I didn't have too many Sharpie marks on the first round, so I'm happy with that.
Not bad. I think you've done a little better than I have.
My son is beating me, but that's okay.
Have you watched much of the women's tournament? I'll be honest, I have not. I've been kind of focused in on baseball and watching some of the men's tournament. Flipped it on here and there. Watched Ole Miss lose their last game. Watched a little bit of Iowa last night. Have you had your eyes on that at all?
I watched one game, and I'm pretty sure you could figure out which one that was. And I didn't watch all of it because once Alabama took a 10-point lead, I was done. So
watched it as a fan, right? Watched it as a fan specifically.
I did, yes.
Well, we got baseball today here at Boehm Walker. You're down in Little Rock. Little Rock's up here. These series are usually it's not a series. You had a series with them last year, just a single game. This game never tells you how the season's going to go necessarily. It's just we usually see somebody put up a ton of runs. This might be the day. Did you see softball was canceled today too? Alyssa and I were talking on the phone a little earlier today. That was a little odd. I don't know if they could have moved that game up either, but softball kind of took a tough series loss at home against Mississippi State, right?
They did, and I thought, UCA, this could be a little bit before they hit the road and go to Georgia this weekend. But then again, UCA is also a team that's beat them the last 2 times that they've matched up. So I don't know, but cold weather seems a little odd. But I don't make those decisions. I wish softball would play. I think it'd have been good for this team to kind of get another game under their belt before they go into another SEC weekend. Especially, because we haven't heard from Courtney Deifel in a little bit, so it's a game tonight. But I think baseball, you talk about scoring runs, man. I remember, I don't know why this is ingrained in my brain, but it was the 2020 season, and my aunt was in town, and me and my mom and my aunt went to that Little Rock game that Arkansas, or it might have been 2021. I can't remember, but they lost by a lot.
Yeah, 11.
That's
11
the Little Rock game that I remember.
It was an 11-4 loss. No, 17-7 loss. They've had a 21-5 win. They had an 11-4 loss. There's no close games in this series, so
no,
I'm assuming
no,
there won't be.
not.
I'm assuming there won't be a close one today. Hey, Alyssa, we'll leave it there. Safe travels back from the capital city. Okay.
I appreciate it, guys. We're going to go find some lunch.
Well, there's plenty of restaurants there. If you need any advice, text me. Halftime will be at 2 Party Place locations on Eclipse Day. We're going to be both in Fort Smith at 7810 Rogers and at the 254 Oak Street Conway address. Matt will be in Fort Smith. I'll be in Conway. That's where the path of totality goes right through. So I'll tell you what it looks like when I'm there. The Party Place is a great place to get your Eclipse glasses. Some people are running out of those right now, so make sure that you've got the right eye safety to be able to see all the things during the total eclipse of the sun. Plus, you can check out the Party Place for all of your seasonal decorations with Easter coming up, Cinco de Mayo in less than 2 months. Of course, graduations coming up over the summer, July 4th, the Olympics, and all the other holidays that are coming up. Plus, Razorback items and sports themes. If you're looking for Halloween costumes and you plan those things out months in advance, yes, there are some of you who do that. The Party Place is the place. Toys, candy, supplies for all the birthdays. That's 2 locations for the Party Place, 7810 Rogers behind Ashley Furniture in Fort Smith and 254 Oak Street in Conway. Halftime back in just a moment on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contests out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up to the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or your mobile device and even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to BetOnline today and get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-78...
12 noon, and we're doing halftime out there. Clay Henry will be alongside. I guess I got to figure out exactly what it is they want me to talk about, which I guess would be Razorback baseball. That would be my assumption.
It's pretty cool, Phil. That's yeah,
hitting the speaking circuit.
I see you. I see you, Marty Rufkin. Don't oversaturate the market. You know, just make sure. Too much radio play. Too much, man. I oversaturated the market this week.
You know what Artie Fufkin didn't do that he should have done? He should have sent Spinal Tap to the various Kiwanis clubs, Rotary clubs, Lions clubs across America. That have sold some albums. Because that's the speaking that I did before was working for the Travelers. I mean, part of your job is being the paid, not the unpaid speaker, to go out and speak to, well, how to put it? I think I've eaten at most of the, if not all of the Western Sizzlings in the state of Arkansas. Because that's where most of the meetings are, or some of the smaller country clubs like in Stuttgart or Batesville or Hot Springs. But yeah, usually it's at a Western Sizzling. And I can eat that and speak. Or at least make it look like I ate that.
The Western, I mean, that buffet right there. Yeah, there you go. Now that's good living.
Yeah, we'll figure out something to talk about. I'm sure we'll be okay. It'll be just fine. Matt, the NFL owners have approved the new kickoff rule, and they've approved it pretty heavily by a vote of 29-3. This is a format that originated in the XFL. I'll just read from the article. This next season, kickers kick from the 35-yard line, but the other 10 players on the kickoff team are at the receiving team's 40. The return team places 9 members in a setup zone, which is between the 35 and 30-yard line. So essentially you've got the two teams about 10 yards away from each other. 2 returners can line up in a landing zone between the goal line and the 20. Nobody can move outside of the kicker and the returner until either the ball hits the ground or hits a player inside the landing zone. Touchbacks are marked at the 30, and there are no fair catches. So you can still kick it through the end zone, but this leads to trying to kick it short of the goal line and stop them before the 30. We're going to get kickoffs again, Matt. They'll be different, but we won't have as many touchbacks.
Well, that's a good thing. We need kickoffs in the game. It's such a chance play. It's a chance for certain players to be athletes. You're getting a playmaker the ball in space. I absolutely love it. I think it's a great move. You need, because really it's been the kickoff's been,
eliminated.
Go to the refrigerator, go do whatever you got to do, but just come back in 3 minutes. It's like all you're going to do is kick the ball and go to commercial. It's a good thing.
Well, the reason that kickoffs changed the way that they did is you're trying to avoid the high-speed collision. Now, nobody can really get the kind of anything close to that kind of momentum. Specifically, the defenders can't get any momentum at all. If they're lined up at the 40, you get maybe a 20-yard start instead of, a 50, 60-yard start? And here's the other aspect. If a team wants to attempt an onside kick, they have to inform the officials that we're going to do an onside kick, and then you go back to the old formation.
10 yards.
Everybody lining up where they would this last season, and you can't have any surprise onside kicks.
Oh, Sean Payton, one of the best calls in NFL Super Bowl history.
Bill Cowher did the same thing against the Cowboys.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So taking away that play, that's okay. I think kickoffs, there's such a for both teams, discipline, staying in your lane, breaking down a tackle, and then you're giving certain guys that can specialize because it's the truth. The kick returner, not necessarily – is going to be a 1A receiver or a 1B receiver. It's usually your backup running back or a guy on a rookie contract or your fourth receiver. So it gives them a chance to make a play.
Aaron texted in the McClarty Daniel hotline. He says that they're ruining the game of football. And maybe they are, but I don't think this rule is an instance of them ruining the game of football. Sounds like, the Players Association was in favor of this, but not in favor of the new tackle ban of the hip drop tackle.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's where look, injuries come from all sorts of hits in football. I guess there must be evidence of this specific kind of tackle leading to more injuries or maybe more serious injuries. But it just seems like it's so much for a player defensively to think about. You've been trained all these years. And that's a legitimate way to bring somebody down. It feels now that we've gotten to a point in football where, I don't know if there are as many hits to the head penalties as we've seen previously, just because you've had, 5-6 seasons of play. So maybe the body's been trained a little bit differently. But this tackle rule, it does seem like it's going to lead – it's like I hate the idea of the obstruction rule in baseball leading to something happening in a playoff game or a meaningful regular season game where it's obvious somebody's been thrown out, but somebody's foot is not in the right spot near a base, and so the runner's going to be called safe. And the same thing will happen in football. What has been a completely legitimate tackle that doesn't have those kind of like the hits to the head, I think there's the intent that goes along with that. You go up and hit somebody in the head, you do have a sense of what you're doing. The hip drop, I don't think nobody's ever thought, well, I'm going to go injure somebody by grabbing them around the waist and pulling them down to the ground. So
it's usually a tackle from behind. It's usually you're trying to get them. It's kind of. So what are you going to do? You have to let go now. I don't understand what the player's supposed to do, and it doesn't make any sense how you're supposed to, because you're putting your weight on his hip, obviously, but. It's tackle football.
Yeah. What if you're trying to wrap somebody up? You lunge and you try to wrap somebody up. You grab them around the shoulders, but your arms slip, and next thing you know, you're around the hip.
And then you pull yourself towards them. That's just it's ridiculous.
It's an inadvertent thing, but it's also a thing that's happening in the NFL. It is happening. So the sport it continues to change.
Is it a 15-yard penalty? I'm guessing. Is it a personal foul type of penalty? Like it's good. So they'll tack 15 yards to the end of the play.
It just says a prohibition.
It seems to me like if this passes the hip drop, that it's just going to be a personal foul type. Like it's a 15-yarder.
It would be. I would imagine that if it's an illegal tackle, it would be the same idea as a horse collar, an illegal tackle, which is also 15 yards.
Yeah.
But I don't view this rule I don't view the kickoff rule as in the idea of the ruin in the game of football. The tackle rule is where I think things are a little bit more. It's more down to the
such a judgment call too. I think it's a little bit of a judgment, like, oh, was that a hip drop or was it not? And what if somebody else comes on and hits him too? It's just you're asking these officials to do a little too much. It seems like
it's right to the fundamental of the sport. It's like, well, bring the ball handler down to the ground. Well, there's various ways you can do that, and another way that I don't think there's ever been any intent that I'm going to go hurt somebody by grabbing them around the hips and pulling them to the ground. It's just that's a good way to get somebody to the ground. I think that's one that maybe at some point they start looking at that, because there will be a lot of games that are affected in probably a fairly negative way by this rules change. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Carl says defense is getting harder. He's right, and I think like so many of the rules changes have gone to help out offensive players. They're not the ones necessarily delivering the hit that I think the rules makers are worried about. I saw that I'd forgotten. 3-on-3 basketball is an Olympic sport. It's in the Paris Olympics this summer, Matt. 3-on-3 basketball. And the American team has been announced. Do we know what the what team
There's
USA?
a flag football too as well. Also, it'd be
there
pretty
is a
cool.
flag football team.
Tyreek Hill, you can't play. Sorry.
Would you be interested in watching flag football in the Olympics? It's like, did you watch the Pro Bowl? They play the same thing. I really wasn't interested in watching.
Yeah, I mean it's like watching spring practice, 7-on-7 drill. It's you get to see athletes be athletes. Does not really pique my interest to watch guys, in whatever they're doing on the flag football. No.
So what
no,
about
sir.
3-on-3 basketball?
Phil, I don't care about watching Division II athletes. Unless it's my family member or somebody I know or I have a connection to. I don't care to watch the B team play. I like to watch I want to watch the A team. That's what hurts you about Live Golf and PGA Tour. You had the A players and all in a group playing, and now you don't have that anymore. I want to see the best compete against the best and sure, would you check it out, but don't really care to watch the C team play.
Well, and that's the idea of the flag football. Like what football player that is making a living playing that sport goes to do that now? Does nobody? I can't. I mean, I'm sure there'll be guys who are successful college football players, and maybe guys who moonlighted in the NFL that'll play.
That's what I was just kind of thinking. Is if Larry Fitzgerald still had some in the tank, I mean, he would still be first class if he's young enough. But that's what I was gonna say. Maybe guys that played in the league for a little bit and then they're done, but they still have youth on their side.
So here's Team USA for 3-on-3 basketball. Canyon Barry, who is Rick Barry's son. I don't remember where he played college, but I do remember the name. Played 4 years in the G League, and the article says he's a 3-on-3 specialist.
I bet he is.
Jimmer Fredette.
Ooh.
You just brought his name up a few times. You always think Jimmer Fredette when it comes to
Jack Golke
or BYU. I guess maybe about the same age, right? I'm assuming Fredette, he probably went on his Mormon mission before he started playing basketball.
That's right. He did COVID before COVID.
Kareem Maddox, who played at Princeton and has won 5 gold medals in international competition in 3-on-3 basketball with Team USA. That's no one I'd heard of before. And Dylan Travis, who won a national championship at Florida Southern, a Division II national championship, just like you're saying. So there are some guys that played D1. None of them played in the NBA. And, man, it's like I'm sure there's some people that will be excited to watch it just because it's a different form of basketball. There is a 3-on-3 league, right, did Joe Johnson play in this?
Yeah, Steven Jackson, Ice Cube, I think, did it. But, yeah, Chris Jackson, otherwise known as Mahmoud
Abdul Rauf. We'll practice that off the air.
Anyways, he was
point.
47 years old, and he was playing in the
No
Big
kidding.
Three. Yeah.
But it's the same idea as the people that might watch if baseball does make it back into the Olympics. It's like those are not the major leaguers. Those are guys that are on 40-man rosters. It's not they're good ball players, but they're not the guys that are in the big leagues. And so it would be like the hardcores like me that would watch that. I think there would be the hardcores that who's watching flag football in the Olympics? Really? Is there an international call for that? And 3-on-3 basketball, it feels to me like that's more of the hardcores.
Yeah, I mean, I'll root for USA, and you'll check it out. But it's give me Denver versus Boston for a 7-game series if you want me to watch some basketball.
877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. We're back to wrap up hour number 2 in just a moment.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
This year, upgrade your home to safe, convenient, and energy-efficient natural gas from Arkansas Oklahoma Gas. Skip the prepayments and delivery issues, and enjoy the peace of mind knowing that your natural gas is always there when you need it. And we can help make converting your home easy and affordable too. For heating, hot water, cooking, and more, it's time to upgrade to safe, reliable, and energy-efficient natural gas. Visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, Energy for Life.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
I would not have expected to read these words. That New Mexico head basketball coach Richard Pitino has had conversations with Louisville about its vacant coaching position. This according to Pat Forty. That's Richard Pitino, not Rick Pitino, who was the head coach at Louisville and did great things there.
What a natty.
Some other things that might have gotten him in trouble and gotten him canned. And wow, I would not have expected to see. I mean, there would have been two people that I'd think, well, maybe they wouldn't be checking in on these guys. One of them would be Rick Pitino. The other might be the head coach who shares his last name. I mean, it's not Richard Pitino's fault that his dad did the kind of stuff that got him canned from Louisville. You would just sort of expect that you wouldn't just put the same last name in that position. And then there's the other aspect that, I mean, he's done well at New Mexico, but didn't really run a big winning program at Minnesota.
Well, he got Jamal Mashburn's son, Monster Mash. You remember him from Kentucky, number 24, played in the league for a while. And then Seton Hall Pirate Eddie House, who was on the Boston Celtics NBA championship team. His son played on that New Mexico team. So he's able to get the right guys there. I think that might be a little bit of something, because you think New Mexico has better resources. You're going to get better resources at Louisville is what I'm meaning. So that name, that connection, being able to get guys like that, he's a player's coach. I think that would be a home run for Louisville.
I guess I'm assuming that Richard Pitino might have worked for his dad at Louisville too, as an assistant or a graduate assistant as he was working his way through. So there is that connection, but that's just I don't know. Now I'm trying to think about this. Remember, like Pete Rose Jr., I think he did play in the Reds organization after it wasn't the Reds fired his dad. It was the game that got rid of his dad. But I was just trying to think of a situation where something like this has happened before, and I can't think of one other than, Bobby Petrino getting rehired at Arkansas, just in a different job.
I think did Coach Muss's son, is he on the coaching staff up there?
Yeah, that's Michael Musselman.
That's got to be pretty cool, right? To be able to coach with your pops. I mean, that's got to be a unique experience. So that's he'll probably be and you probably have to cut the leash sometime, right? Like you're with them, and then he'd probably go out on his own, or do you think that's someone that they stay together? TJ Cleveland kind of did that with Mike Anderson. Wherever he went, you thought he might go out on his own or something, but I don't know what he's doing now. But that's got to be pretty cool.
Just kind of passing that tradition on of dad to coach to son, and son becoming a coach. Seems like it's a cycle with the Musselmans. All right, hour number 3 of halftime coming up in a moment. Calls and texts come in on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. Get a great deal at any of McClarty Daniel's 6 locations in Springdale or Bentonville, and always online at McClartyDaniel.com. Stay with us. We're back in just a moment.
0.9% financing on a new 23 or 24 GMC Sierra at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Save up to $6,500 off with factory rebates on a new GMC Sierra truck, or take $3,750 off with 0.9% financing or 2.9% financing for up to 72 months on Sierra 1500s. 6.2-liter engine excluded. Conquer with confidence in a new GMC Sierra from Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Are you tired of the overcrowded fitness centers? Would you like a fitness option where you can actually work out? Then let's hang out. The Hangout is Fort Smith's newest fitness facility. It has an 8,000 square foot gym, indoor tennis, pickleball, and basketball with more sports coming soon. The Hangout offers group and individual training in the gym and boasts 3 active tennis pros to help you grow your game. Stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See Agent Randy Milam in Alma or Agent Brandon Zimmerman in Barling.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. Sign up now for Pascal's Planned Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, moderate to heavy rain is possible. We'll see an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain just today with occasional showers and thunderstorms with heavy downpours. Our high today, low to mid 60s. We'll start to dry things out tonight. And overnight, low mid to upper 30s. Partly sunny and cooler. Highs near 50 north, upper 50 south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Judge, take it to the house. And the dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3.
Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
And welcome back into halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. We're into our third and final hour before Ruskin and Zach take over. I'll be leaving in about 30 minutes. Pardon me. Arkansas baseball is taking batting practice right now. The Little Rock Trojans are here at Bohm Walker, and they're watching them hit. If you were unaware, this was supposed to be a 6:30 night game. That has been moved to 3 o'clock because of not just expected cold temperatures. This is going to be cold tonight. Going to be about 38 degrees, I think, when we would have started the game. So it'll be about 46 to 47 degrees instead. We'll be talking, he will. Matt Jones will be talking with Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio in about 30 minutes. Thought we might take a look at our bracket here. Now, we had our own bracket. We had the hitthatline.com bracket in which all the hosts and have put their picks on there. I'm in third place amongst the hosts with 80 points. Zach and Andy Hodges are ahead of me. There's many listeners that are ahead of everybody else, though. So we've got some listeners that know what they're talking about when it comes to this bracket. But Matt, Matt Jones was our own little halftime commissioner for a bracket that we've put together here, which is completely different than any of the others. What does this thing look like? And is there any chance that I can come from behind? Because I might be third place in the Hit That Line bracket, but there's no way that I'm leading ours.
Yeah, I got a little lucky. C bracket had BYU and South Carolina. They both had a big goose egg, but he has Houston and Clemson, so he got 2 plus 2. He has 4 points. PCP Fish City Phil. You had James Madison and Baylor who got you a point but got knocked out. But then
James Madison was supposed to be my surprise Sweet 16 team, but I don't really know if there is one.
They got you a point. But you got UConn and Purdue picked by most people as the 2 best teams left in the tournament. So you have 6 points. The Wolf, he had Auburn and Kentucky. He went SEC heavy. They laid a goose egg for him, but he has Zaga and UNC. I think UNC's just up there with all of them. So there's 4. And then I got Illinois, Marquette, Arizona, Tennessee, a couple 2 seeds and 1 3 seed, and got lucky. All of them are still in. So right now I would be in the lead with 8.
I feel pretty good about that, man. You should be beating everybody. Well, there is one surprise Sweet 16 team. That's North Carolina State. Outside of that, that's an 11 seed. Outside of that, Clemson is the lowest seed left as a number 6. But like you said, all the number 1s have gone through. All the number 2s have made it through. Illinois is the only, Illinois and Creighton are the 3 seeds that made it through, so 2 out of 4 got past there. Duke and Alabama are 4 seeds, so 2 out of the 4 seeds made it through. You got a 5 seed in San Diego State and Gonzaga, also a 5 seed, and then there's Clemson at 6, and then there's North Carolina State at 11. That would define chalkiness right there, Matt.
I think you can see now A&M had a chance. Now Houston had that 10-point lead, and A&M kind of came back a little bit, but I think the way the portal's working, the way that the younger kids you're not signing 5 freshmen or 4 high school kids to a Kentucky team to even Arkansas. If you're in the top, if you're in the top slate of teams, top of the pyramid, you're looking for guys that have college experience, and so I think it's gonna continue to be a little chalky going forward because you want guys that have been in college off seasons. You want guys that know what they're doing, and we know that 17-year-old kid projected to be an NBA guy. He's still not going to be an NBA guy till he's 24 minimum. So you got time to grow. Most of the time it's you have your one and done, or you have your special talents like a Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. We get that, but it takes 4, 5, 6 years to develop. Look at Anthony Black and how awesome he is. It's still he needed 3 years of college ball, but you don't tell a kid no when you're going to be a lottery pick. Same thing with Jordan Walsh and Nick Smith. In years past, if you were looking at the 80s, Phil, or the 90s, I think all those kids would have came back for another year, and it would have been a totally different team this year. But the way the game going, that's just how it is.
The way that you put it, you're just trying to think about the idea of just pick 2 of them to come back. Even if 2 of them, even if Nick Smith came back after a year in which I don't think he was ever really healthy, and then is healthy to play here at Arkansas, and either one of Anthony Black or Jordan Walsh, let's just say it would have been Walsh because he wasn't going to be a lottery pick. Let's say that the only one that would have left would have been Black as a lottery pick. And the idea of how much better these kids would be that second year here at Arkansas.
No, that's the thing. Your jump, that freshman to sophomore year, Phil, I think that was my biggest jump. And you see people have their jumps at different times. But that's really the biggest jump, that freshman, sophomore, freshman to junior year, because it's you've changed your whole scenery. You're not in high school anymore. You've learned so much. You learned how to watch film. You keep working on your craft. You become a better basketball player, a better shooter. You get stronger. You get quicker. You get faster. It's fun to watch these kids grow.
So, Matt, let's take a look at this guy that Richard Davenport reported is visiting Fayetteville this weekend. It's Josh Cohen, plays at UMass, 6'10", 220. He's an older guy. He has already played 4 years of college basketball, and he redshirted as a freshman at St. Francis of Pennsylvania. So he's got an extra year, and that is the COVID year. This would be one of the – there can't be that many COVID seniors that are left here 4 years later. He's going to be one of them. Played 3 years at St. Francis, Pennsylvania, eventually became a 22-point scorer with 8 rebounds a game in the Northeast Conference, goes up to UMass, 16 points, 7 rebounds a game, shot 57%. Not a guy you're going to rely on three-pointers. But, somebody that's older. This is a guy that plays the position that we're talking about. 6'10", 220, power forward. I wouldn't call him center-ish. But this is the kind of player that we're talking about. Guy that's been around, been at a lower level, had to have worked really hard to become the kind of player he is. Redshirted a year, and the red shirt had nothing to do with COVID. Made it through COVID, made it through 2 programs, one of them low-level Division I, the other mid-major Division I, and now you see if he can do it at the top level of college basketball.
That's a great pickup, I think.
Well, we'll see if they pick him up.
Because that's what is Grant Nelson? That's about how big. Now I know Grant Nelson's more of an outside big, but he's 6'10", 220. He's a little light in the britches. You got a 6'10", you want to be 250, but 6'10", 220's rail. That's pretty thin.
Oh, look, he played for Frank Martin at I didn't realize Frank Martin had become the head coach at UMass. Probably
he's an old school. Frank Martin's he's an old school Bobby Knight
that'll
type
take
guy.
Coaching.
He'll tell you.
Played St. Francis, Pennsylvania, and then played for Frank Martin at UMass. You'll take some coaching.
Yeah, that's a good. And I think what you said about what Chuck say, Coach Muss wants to get back to physicality. Some dudes. That would be a guy if you're looking at his repertoire, whatever he's been doing the last 5 years, and who he's been coached by. I bet he's pretty tough.
I would imagine. So, by the way, speaking of Chuck, he had reminded us, he was listening, he said, TJ Cleveland, you'd wondered where TJ is now, an assistant coach at Wichita State.
Okay. Yeah, because I knew he was with Mike Anderson. He's a former teammate of mine, Phil. He was one of the smartest basketball players I'd ever played with. You can tell. Like, there's just certain guys, it's like, yeah, he's going to be a coach. He's super sharp.
877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline if you want to get in with us. Making plans for Eclipse Day. Got a big weekend plan leading up to Eclipse Day in Harrison. You'll get Mooned in Boone. Celebrate in Harrison April 5th and 6th. Downtown, going to have a Boone block party with live music, all kinds of food, all kinds of events. Information's available at exploreharrison.com. Get Mooned in Boone with the block party, live music April 5th and 6th, downtown Harrison. And again, it's exploreharrison.com for more information. Stay with Halftime. We'll be back in just a moment.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline to join the conversation on ESPN Arkansas. 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel has a vehicle to fit both your style and budget. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, you're never too far from a good deal. Visit McClartyDaniel.com to find your next ride. Find your next ride with McClarty Daniel at a price you'll love. Join the conversation on ESPN Arkansas at 877-377-6963.
Spring is just around the corner, and Jelco Outdoors is ready with all of your spring fishing gear. Crappie, bass, catfish, Jelco has a great selection of rods, reels, and baits to help you fill that stringer. Spring turkey supplies are rolling in daily, and the firearms department is stocked up with ammo for outdoor shooting. Spring is almost here, so get outdoors and enjoy the spring season. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, for all your outdoor gear. Think spring, think Jelco Outdoors.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westart Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westart Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Drive a third-row SUV that is style in motion with the 2023 Buick Enclave at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get $1,250 in total savings or 2.9% financing on a 23 Buick Enclave. The 23 Buick Enclave, designed for the road ahead and well-crafted for your refined taste. Test drive a new Buick Enclave and experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Constantly going low. I wanna be it's the land. Oh no, mine is shook. Can't feel drugs I took. Distant land. Oh, Lord,
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Be an interesting baseball game for Arkansas against Little Rock today. Ben Bybee makes his season debut. Hard-throwing right-hander who he had some moments as a freshman last year, both good and bad. He'll get a second chance to start against Little Rock. He was the starter in the 11-4 loss last season. Mononucleosis is what he came down with. I guess it's been about 3 weeks. A little more than 3, but I think it was actually, he would have pitched. I think that happened in Arlington, so that was well over a month ago. I remember I've never had mono, but I remember seeing Matt Cronin when he came down with that, and I think that was in the 2019 season, and that happened in May or late April, and man, he lost quite a lot of weight from mono. And didn't quite have his fastball when he came back. So I'm sure Bybee looked fine in bullpen sessions, and they're going to need him coming up soon because you do have some 2-game series. And I think they're going to want to use him on the weekends. Today will certainly show one reason why he will or won't pitch this weekend against LSU.
Yeah, wish him luck and glad he's healthy. So do you breathe on the ball every time before you throw it? You kind of just like
I don't think you're allowed to.
Okay.
You can't. You can go to your mouth. You can go on a day like this. The umpires will let pitchers lick their fingers on the pitcher's mound. They'll get the okay on a day.
Do
like
they
this.
ever wear? You know how quarterbacks wear a hand warmer? Do they ever have a glove on one hand, as far as not their baseball glove, but like a receiver's glove or do they ever have a hand warmer around them?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know about the hand warmer. Maybe they can have one in their back pocket or anything. But I'd also wonder if a head coach might be a little nervous about. Well, is that guy out there doing something with that warmer? Is there a little extra substance on it? That's why you can never have a glove. Like the pitchers never wear like a batting glove in the glove anyway. But they can go to their finger. They can go to their mouth and lick it a little bit. I think as long as they wipe it off. But Bybee didn't need that kind of stuff. He's got good enough stuff. This Little Rock team, by the way, this is one of the older teams. This is like the COVID year added more to baseball too. I mean, you get older teams, guys that are in their 5th or in some cases 6th year. So anyway, 3:00 game. These games against Little Rock, somebody always wins in a blowout, whether it's Arkansas winning 4 blowouts or Little Rock winning 2 blowouts. So I was going back and looked. So 30 years ago today was the day after Arkansas defeated the University of Tulsa in the Sweet 16. 103-84. Later on that day, Michigan beat Maryland 78-71, and so you were a day away from an Elite 8 matchup with. I mean, Michigan was. Now, keep in mind, I'm just looking at this from my perspective from back then when I was 16 or 17 years old. These were the 2 coolest teams in all of college basketball. For those who are, I grew up in Pittsburgh. Nobody that I grew up around had ever been to the state of Arkansas. We all loved watching the Razorbacks because why wouldn't you enjoy watching that brand of basketball then as teenagers? And Michigan was, I mean, they didn't have Weber, but that team had Jalen Rose, they had Ray Jackson, they had Juwan Howard, they had 4 of the Fab 5, and only Weber was gone. I mean, that. Now, I don't remember the details of the game. I will guarantee I watched the game, but it's not locked in my brain, the memories of it. But I can just only imagine in my mind, in my friend's mind, all 15 to 17-year-old boys, like we all want to be these guys on that basketball court playing for those 2 teams and those 2 coaches.
It was the whole vibe. It was the whole movement. Yeah, that Fab 5 that Bobby Knight so much cherished and so much loved up there in Michigan. I'll never forget when Bobby Knight said, "What did that team win? What'd they ever win?" He was such the ultimate competitor, But yeah, I think of Bob Huggins and the Cincinnati Bearcats, kind of that same style. of the Nolan Richardson. I think Coach Muss has a little bit of that in him. Being physical, get after you. I think Shaka Smart at Marquette still has some of that style. That's that Nolan Richardson style. You look at that. We're going to press a little bit. We're going to get after you on defense. That was it, man. That getting up and down. That was some fun basketball.
Hey, you brought up Jamal Mashburn. Your boy is in the transfer portal.
Louisville? Is he in the Cardinal Red? Louisville's?
His dad played for Rick Pitino. Why maybe not go play at St. John's if they've got a bag to give? Because that might be what it's about too.
There you go. Yeah, I haven't seen the kid play. You know he's got talent. It's in his blood. But yeah, that's
two-time All Mountain West. 14 points a game this year. Looks like he can do a few other things too.
His dad had a mid-range game. His dad is nice.
Oh,
man.
His dad could do a little.
Jamal was nice.
He could do it all.
Yeah. He gets you to his spot. Him and Allen Houston. They did Ron Mercer play with Jamal, but Jamal had kind of like it was like a tricky low post mid-range game, but he just kind of gets you to whatever spot it was in that 12-foot range, and he just turn around and fade away a little bit and just all day.
Michi Johnson is in the portal. South Carolina's leading scorer. 6'2", is a junior. I guess, didn't he start somewhere else? I forget where he played originally, but South Carolina's his second school. So this is a guy that, was he a first-team All-SEC? I mean, he was he was the top scorer on the team that finished, third place? Tied for second place in the SEC. They had themselves a great year. But another guy that's moving on, and I'm sure those in Columbia are surprised but not surprised all at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like you can't be surprised anytime any of your players leave to go into the portal.
And that's 100% about money, right?
Would feel like it is.
Because, I mean, it's wild out there. Everybody's a free agent. It's a 1 year 1099 and you're a free agent the next year. It just makes, even if he comes back, because I was going to ask you, do you think Landon Blocker would come back? They enter the portal and just you got to test it out, right? Like if you were advising a kid that's playing ball right now, would you almost advise go ahead and enter the portal?
Well, that's an interesting way to look at it. It's like the kids who are quote unquote testing the waters for the NBA draft. You
don't sign with an agent, right?
Well, that's right. That's what did
Devo do it last year?
Caleb Battle says I don't think he's entering his name in the draft, but that's at the top of his mind. He wants feedback. What do I need to do to get more eyes from NBA scouts?
Grow 6 inches.
Well, yeah. Get some Miracle Grow. Sit under a grow light for a little bit, see if that helps. But the idea is, you're testing the waters with these scouts. I think with the way that you're looking at it here is the players that potentially think that maybe there's a better place for them to go play or a place for them to get paid more. Test those waters in the transfer portal. So then, are you allowed back? That's a great question. I think we've seen with football, because I've heard Sam Pittman say it two ways. One, no, you're not coming back if you're in the portal. And then two, yeah, we'll welcome you back because he was a better player and that he realized he might have to look at it from a different perspective. I tell you what, though, if Landon Blocker wants to come back and play for Arkansas, I'd take him. I'm not the coach, so I'm not the one with the feelings about this or the relationship or all the time that's been put into it, but from what I watched and, trying to project somebody that looks as athletic as he does and someone who I think cares, I would take him back.
Man, he's going to be so much better of a basketball player next year than what he was. And that's just that growth from freshman to sophomore year. He's going to click up 2 clicks. Like that's what I was saying about Jordan Walsh, his freshman year. I was like, man, think about Jordan Walsh as a sophomore and a junior. And it's just we don't get it anymore. We don't get the luxury of the first time I quit watching college basketball was when the one and done was rampant. When it's just they're coming because they're not really you're watching a bad product out there with like that way, and then now you're getting all the older guys out there, and so basketball aesthetically it is a little bitty. I mean, it's a lot better to watch. I think college basketball right now is better than it was 20 years ago. But yeah, it's just a shame you don't get to see a guy like Jordan Walsh be a 3-year guy, or Landon Blocker be a 3-4 year guy, and see him grow and make all the memories and all the moments that they would have. They go off somewhere else, and everything's so 1 year, 1099, independent contractor. You just got to look at it that way. There's no more student athlete. They're independent contractors working, making money, and then they're going off to the next job. It might be in Arizona, it might be in Arkansas, it might be in Florida, but where are your services needed?
Hey, remember, Bet Saracen, if you want to put a little wager on your favorite sporting event, NBA regular season, NFL preseason props, NFL draft props, Major League Baseball preseason props. They're all on Bet Saracen. Works on your Apple iPhone. Just download from the App Store, or Android users use Google Play. Any web browser works as well, betsaracen.com, and make sure that you're inside the state of Arkansas, because that's the only way that you can use Bet Saracen. I got to check out and go talk with DVH. Baseball's about an hour and a half away. Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio stops by halftime right after this.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
It's Ram Truck Month, and at Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer, we got Ram 1 ton, 3/4 ton, and the Ram.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contests out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up to the national championship. You can access the most up-to-the-minute wagering information anytime from your desktop or your mobile device and even track your bracket real-time all the way through the tournament. Head to BetOnline today and get in on all the action. Remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
Passing through the night, lines on my face, your fingers once trace, fading reflection of what was. Thoughts rearrange, familiar now strange, all my schemes drifting on the wind.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Yes, sir. Back halftime here. Myself and C Brackett. Phil Elson going to get some sound from DVH. Baseball Hogs going to take on UALR here. 3 o'clock, everybody. I guess we all know that by now. It was a 6:30 opening pitch. It's been moved to 3 o'clock. So get out there and check it out. Right now, we're going to be checked out by the king of college football. That's Bill King. Bill, what's up, man?
Hey, Matt. How you doing, sir?
Man, you know what, Bill? I know we talked a little bit about it last week. I have all 8 of my Elite 8 still in my bracket. I have 12 of 16 and my Sweet 16 left in my bracket. How did your bracket go? How are you looking?
Utter destruction. I had Kentucky. That got eliminated. I had Auburn real deep. That got me killed. The only thing I have left that makes sense is I have Tennessee, I've got Connecticut, I got North Carolina. I'm not. It's not the worst bracket ever, but literally eliminated the first day. Is what happened.
That first day, that SEC, that SEC basketball. A lot of people, and I was one of them, talking about how good the SEC basketball is, and to go 2-6 on that opening weekend, really was a bummer.
No doubt, and Auburn going down, Kentucky going down. I think probably the biggest surprise is they're Kentucky losing to Oakland County, Detroit, Michigan. Now, again, that's been a good program. That guy's been there. That head coach has been the head coach there since 1984.
Wow.
40 years, and he's beaten a lot of teams. But, Kentucky, that one stung me pretty bad, and maybe I should have thought that out better because really, since Kentucky lost in that 15 season to Wisconsin, remember they were undefeated heading into the Final Four that year. They really hadn't done a whole lot since then, and I should have taken that to account.
Yeah, they were struggling kind of to stop people. Hey, Arkansas has a big one this week with LSU. We know the history there and how good LSU's been. What are you looking for in this matchup, Arkansas baseball versus LSU Tigers?
LSU is struggling some at the plate from time to time, and I don't think their pitching is as deep as perhaps they wanted. Arkansas is a clear favorite here. I'd be shocked if Arkansas didn't win 2 or 3. At least win 2 out of 3 and maybe sweep them. I'd be shocked. Arkansas, I think, is a solidly better baseball team than LSU in its current form, and Tennessee just lost superstar Billy Amick,
Mm.
their third baseman and number 3 hitter, to something with his appendix. They're not saying. They got some bad news for their baseball team today.
Yeah, Phil was telling me that this pitching staff, this starting unit that Arkansas has, could be one of the best, if not the best ever under DVH. And I didn't really believe him, but because the pitching's been so good every year, the pitching's pretty good at Arkansas. But this might be the best collection, the best depth that this pitching staff's been under DVH.
And I say this as a compliment. That's an outrageous statement, if true, because you're right. I mean, my God, what's that supposed to mean? And they're ranked number 1, I think, appropriately right now.
Hey, I wanna ask you a little bit about football. We have the March Madness. There's really only one Cinderella. That's NC State, which I think that guy, the number 30. If you're the Buffalo Bills, you're not trying him out at left tackle. I mean, you see his feet. If he actually had a little nasty in him and wanted to, he could be an all-pro offensive lineman.
I've talked through the years with football coaches about basketball players, and that's the one sport where I think there's a lot of basketball players that could transition to football easily. I don't think there's a lot of football players that could translate. You could, but most of them can't. NBA players would be fantastic NFL players at a number of positions. And yeah, you'll see a big 6'9" guy who's 270, 280. You imagine what kind of offensive tackle he would be. But a lot of those guys just don't like football. Whatever about it, it's you've got all the padding on. It's hot. It's in August, and they just don't like it.
That's what Charles Barkley said. His worst day ever was his one day he went to football practice.
Can you imagine what kind of athlete he'd be as a defensive end or something? Oh my God!
Yeah, just outrageous, explosive. I mean, it would have been ridiculous. But so that being said, I kind of a couple questions with some football. I kind of want to know if you think Louisville football will be kind of back, if they have an outside chance at that playoff 12. Kind of who would be Bill King's? Who would be one of your Cinderella teams that's not necessarily a top 10 right now, but you think could make a run and be in that playoff 12?
Well, Louisville had a really good year under Coach Brom, who's back home at Louisville, and they probably won a few more games than they should. Their schedule was very fortuitous, and easily their biggest win was the solid win over Notre Dame. That was probably their apex of the season. I don't know if it's going to be that easy again this year, but I'm a big fan of Coach Brom. So if they snuck in, Florida State's going to drop back a little bit. Clemson's still not right. So there is room for somebody else. And maybe that is Louisville, which obviously would get them a top 12 type spot. And after that, the Big 12, I don't know if I've ever seen. Remember, Arizona State, Colorado's coming back. All those teams now, Utah in the Big 12. I don't know if I've ever seen a league where you could probably, without acting like a fool, name 8 to 10 teams that could win that league. I don't think you can't say that ever about the SEC or the Big 10. You may be able to say that about the Big 12 coming up.
Yeah, I mean that's true. A team coming into the Big 12 is Colorado. Do you think they have any substance there, or do you think it's a little too much flash? Could they be a contender or a pretender?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
they've got a fantastic quarterback. They've got a fantastic athlete in Travis Hunter. They've done very well in the portal. I think could they win a couple more games and win 6 or 7 games? Yeah. But I don't really think they're going to be a contender this year. And I wouldn't be surprised. Shedeur Sanders will move on to the NFL. So will Travis Hunter. I wouldn't be surprised if Dion got out of there. I'm not going to predict it, but it wouldn't shock me.
No, I'm with you. I kind of thought he wanted to coach his son. I don't know if his younger boys where they are, but I think that had a part of it to do with it. Yeah. Phil and I got into this conversation earlier this week. I think Travis Hunter is a can't-miss prospect if he's healthy. I think he's the best cornerback or two-way player you want to say since Charles Woodson, and we all know he won the Heisman Hall of Fame career. Is Travis Hunter the best athlete coming back in college football?
I may catch myself an hour from now and think of somebody else. Probably. I think he's probably a corner.
I do too.
On the next level, right? I mean, I think he could do either, but I think he's more dynamic as a corner. Woodson, and just comparing two-way players, Travis Hunter's body type is very slight. That's a little bit of a worry. He might be 6'1", but I don't know if he weighs 180. Woodson was built pretty good, right? Woodson was bigger physically,
rangy. He had a little more range to him. Yeah.
But Hunter's so dynamic, man. And the other thing I worry about him, and that won't be a problem in the NFL, is playing him two ways, man. Over a period of time has got to be tough. It's got to be hard on his body.
I'm with you. I think at the next level, he's a cornerback. They're just so hard to find, and it doesn't mean you don't have a package for him, but it just wouldn't make sense for him to do that. Did you see the new rules for the kickoff? Do you think college football might adopt the new rules that the NFL is going to go with the new kickoff?
Probably. And I'm old school, and I admit it to a fault. Anytime there's any change, I typically don't like it, just because sometimes there's not a good reason for it. I just don't like it. It looks gimmicky to me, but that's what they're going to. And I understand the collisions. One of the worst concussions we've had, my 7 kids, is my son on a kickoff return. Didn't know his name and couldn't stand light around him for about a week after a collision. So I know what it's like in a family, what happens on those kickoffs, but it looks gimmicky.
Hey, I want to ask you as well. I was thinking about somebody from 2 years ago, and Harold Perkins, who I thought was just an absolute beast his freshman year. And we know LSU's changing their defensive ways. Who is the best edge rusher in college football, or who are a couple coming back this next year? And do you think Harold Perkins has a bounce-back year and could be the SEC Defensive Player of the Year?
They've got to identify him, and reading and reacting or whatever, he's got to be up the field. And he's a chase linebacker. He's not going to be overly physical at the point of attack, but he's going to be a guy. Remember the Arkansas game? He was he made play after play, running people down. That is his game. The best prospect is James Pierce. Matter of fact, they said that if he came out this year, which he's just going to be a true junior next year, he may be the first defensive player taken. He's 6'6", 250 at Tennessee. He's a 4-star recruit out of North Carolina, and he's the top guy returning in college football. Now, he gets up the field. Is he where he needs to be at the point of attack in the run game against the big tackle? He needs work there. But as far as getting up the field, Matt, being long and being athletic, he's the best guy.
I got you. Right on. Hey, I want to ask about Arch Manning. How much playing time, if at all, does he get? Is there one more year then he's the starter next year? What is that quarterback situation going to be like in Texas?
That's the plan. And I don't know. Quinn Ewers is upright and healthy. You're not substituting.
Right.
I don't know that you're just going to get him a package. You know this. You played it. A lot of times there'll be plans to do that, and you get in a game and they never do. Right? I mean, there's always. Tennessee had a kid named Carl Pickens. They talked about playing a lot both ways, and then we get in the game, and sometimes they wouldn't do it. I don't think so. He'll get some reps in mop-up duty, but it's a new year. They're in the SEC now. They come to Vanderbilt. They're in the 615. Matt, maybe he gets half a game in Vanderbilt. How about that?
I like it. Bill, man, I appreciate you always joining us. You're the best, man. Thank you, Bill.
Yep. Thanks, Matt.
That's Bill King of college sports, man. He's give us some of his time each week. Pretty cool. Always enjoy chatting with Bill. Hey, Christian, we got one more segment left, and then we're going to wrap it up on this awesome Tuesday. You ready?
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Yeager's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these red-hot buys at any of our 4 locations. Flower hanging baskets were $11.99, now only $7.99. 5-gallon maple or fruit trees just $25.97. Miracle Grow 1 cubic foot garden soil, $4.99 with your Ace Rewards card. And flower and vegetable seeds are 25 cents. Spring into savings at Yeager's Ace Hardware. Find us online at YeagersHardware.com.
Whether you're fishing for coldwater bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Planned Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where we have the biggest and best selection of premium pre-owned vehicles we've had in years. Many with low miles and those special features you're looking for, and each one road ready certified with warranty. Be sure to ask about the weekly specials that can save you up to $4,000. Road ready certified used cars and savings up to $4,000. 2 more reasons all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Are you interested in saving money on your heating bills and upgrading your home's energy efficiency? Now's the time. Installing or upgrading to natural gas allows you to take advantage of high-efficiency appliances that save energy and money. From furnaces to water heaters to gas dryers and fireplaces, there's a natural gas option to fit your home and your budget. What's not to love about that? Don't wait. Call AOG today at 800-842-5690 or visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Why am I tired all the time? Not that I really mind. It's just another kind of life for me. Dreams creeping on tender feet. They rob me my lies of everything that's beating me.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Yes, sir. Back halftime, wrapping this thing up. Myself, C Bracket with us. Bill is off getting some sound from DVH. The baseball Hogs take on UALR. They still the Trojans? I'm guessing they're still the Little Rock Trojans at 3 o'clock first pitch today. So get out there, check it out, root them on before they get going with the series, man. It's going to be a good one, LSU coming to town.
Yeah, that's going to be a great one. Would have liked to get the sweep against Auburn, but you took 2 of 3. You got a little tune-up game here before you play LSU. You can't sleep on UALR, though. You know they're going to be gunning for you, but play well, pitch good, get the win, and then you got LSU. Even at home, if you can take 2 of 3 from the Tigers anytime, you'll take it.
Oh yeah. Well, we got coming up Thursday and Friday. Your bracket, the story continues. It continues to unfold. See, money. I was going to ask you about some of the SEC teams that are left.
Yeah.
You get Alabama 8:39 CBS. Thursday, March 28th. Now, Alabama takes on North Carolina, number 1 seed. This is a West region. They're playing out in California. You give the SEC any chance right there? You give Bama a chance?
I don't like Alabama at all in this game. I know Alabama likes to score. North Carolina likes to score, but I just think North Carolina has too many weapons on offense. Defensively, they're probably a little better than Alabama. Alabama doesn't scare me. I thought they were better last year. I thought their team was better, suited for a longer run. I mean, they're in the Sweet 16 this year. They're obviously a pretty good team, but I just don't see them getting by the Tar Heels.
Yeah, the Brandon Miller factor is out of the way. You get number 1 overall seed, the other number 1 overall seed on Thursday. San Diego State at UConn. Yeah. UConn's 33-3. They're the number 1 overall seed in this tournament. Have not been beaten on the court since December 20th. Any chance San Diego State? You giving San Diego State a chance?
I think this is a rematch from the national title, isn't it? Last year, I want to say they played San Diego State in the national title. I know they made the Final Four. I like the way San Diego State's playing this year. I know UConn is a juggernaut, and they're going to be favored, and they should win this game, but I think it's going to be the toughest win for UConn that they've had to get, and I see it being like a 5 or 6 point game, possibly. San Diego State is hot right now. They got a good win over UAB, who was a good team, but then they had a really impressive win over Yale, who beat Auburn, which kind of opened my eyes to the Aztecs. UConn is still probably going to win, but I wouldn't sleep on this game. I'd give them a chance, but I don't know, maybe a 20% chance.
Yeah, it'd be a home court game. Boston, Massachusetts is where the game is, and UConn will kind of have that home court advantage. All right, we got one more SEC team left that will be playing. That's Friday. As the number 2 seeded Tennessee Volunteers will take on the Creighton Jayhawks, and I think this is such a matchup. Both teams have a big that's pretty solid. Both teams have some nice guards. Tennessee kind of in unfamiliar territory, not really used to going this far in the tournament. They have the SEC Player of the Year in Ziegler. They have the Defensive Player of the Year, in Ziegler. And then they have the SEC player. Was he the National Player of the Year as well in Dalton Connect? What do you think about that one?
To get to the Sweet 16, I think that's about right for Tennessee. I don't see them making a run. I just don't think they're built for like a national title or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's too much working against them. It's hard to get over the hump when you've had I mean, there's got to be a time at some point where you break the hump, but I don't think it's going to be against Creighton. They've been there before. They got a great coach. I think McDermott's their coach, and I just trust them. They got a kind of a pretty close win over Texas. Texas doesn't really have a great history in the tournament either. Tennessee, man, they're going to be faced with some adversity. I don't see it, man. I think they're snake bit, just one of those teams that are snake bit when it comes to the tournament. I feel like they've hit their threshold kind of. You know what I mean?
Yep. That Houston-Duke game would be pretty good. I think Marquette has the easiest road. They play North Carolina State. I think that's when their luck runs out. I think if I was to pencil one team in to the Elite Eight, it would be Marquette. But we'll find out. Hey, C Bracket, good work today, man.
Thanks, man. Enjoyed it.
And to all the listeners out there, all the fan feedback, all the text line, and to all of our guests today, a special big thank you. As always, we couldn't do this without all you guys as well. And everybody enjoy the rest of your day. See you around.